What's up everybody, welcome back. So in this video I'm going to show you how to set up the CurvePlayer to use with your own custom character. Probably the only time you can use it with this character is when you have the project files from the Discord and you are using the character in there. Otherwise you probably need to replace the mesh, and I'm going to show you how to set it up in this video. So first things first, you need a mesh that's set up for the procedural animation. So I have a video uploaded yesterday or the day before that, I think, that shows you quickly how to set it up. Or if you followed my previous first-person animation tutorial, then you should have a character ready for it as well. The important thing here is that when you use that character, that you have IK bones in place, and those are named IK hand root, IK hand gun, IK hand left and right. Otherwise you might need to change the names in the animation blueprint for the CurvePlayer. So if we have the CurvePlayer over here and we go to the animation blueprint, then you have all these IK nodes in here, and you see most of them affect the IK hand gun bone. So if your bone is named different, you need to change it in here, and the same thing goes for the IK hand R. And we also use the normal hand bones from the skeleton themselves, so they should be hand R and hand underscore L. So keep in mind that your skeleton is set up in the same way as the epic skeleton, and otherwise you need to change the bone names in the animation graph for the CurvePlayer. Then if you followed my previous tutorial, you will also have aim correction on your mesh probably, or on your rig, and you can leave it in place. The CurvePlayer also has the aim correction in here. If you do not have aim correction on your character, then you can simply remove this part from the event graph. I also marked it for aim correction. And then you want to disconnect these two nodes and get rid of them, so you can just leave out this section, and that should work fine. So if you want to know more about aim correction, then you should check out this video. Over here I'll show you how to set it up so you will actually always hit your crosshair, also in hipfire. So if you're interested in that, check out this video. I'll link it in the top right of the screen as well. So if you're sure your character is set up correctly, or with the same bone names that is, then you also need to make sure that you have a weapon mesh that has an aim socket. So if I will open my weapon over here, we added an aim socket to this rig over here, and we're using that to ADS with the weapon, and we're also going to use that to make animations later. So you need to line up a socket with the sides of your weapon, and you want to call that aim socket. And if you named it otherwise, then you need to go into the animation blueprint again, and there we have a set aim socket function, and over here you want to replace the name of the aim socket. And if you use the aim correction part, there is an aim socket in there as well, I'm pretty sure. Oh, that's the aim correction bone, so that doesn't really matter, so you don't need to change anything there. And for the aim point, I think you should be good to go. There's only an IK bone in here, so if you change those names, make sure you change it in here as well. And then everything should be set up and good to go. So if you think your character matches those requirements, then we can continue. So this is the default CurvePlayer project, and what I normally do is just keep this project on the side, and I'm not moving this into my game project. I'll just copy my character into this project. I can work on the animations in here, and later I'll just copy the animations back into my own project. So you could also copy all of the CurvePlayer files into your games project, and then make sure that you launch the game with the CurvePlayer character, and then you should be good to go as well. So I got my character mesh in here, I have the character base pose in here, and I have the weapon that I want to use in the project. And now I'm gonna set it up to use that character. So the first thing I need to do is open up the animation blueprint for the CurvePlayer. And if I go to the anim graph, over here we have the pose animations. I'm gonna delete them and then compile and save it, get rid of it, and then I'm gonna retarget it to my own character. So you don't need to worry about setting up the bone retargeting stuff and things like that, because there's no actual animation in the AnimBP. So it doesn't really matter. We just need to make sure that it's assigned to our skeleton. So I'm going to duplicate animation blueprint, and then I'm going to make sure that I deselect only compatible skeletons, and I'm going to select my character skeleton. So that's the male arm skeleton, and retarget it. So now I have an animation blueprint that's assigned to my character, and there's a few things we need to do in here. So first of all, I'm getting this error because I don't have an aim correction bone, so I'm going to get rid of the aim correction stuff. So I can simply delete this part in the event graph, get rid of it, and make sure you connect these up. And then I need to go to the animation graph, and I want to get rid of these two nodes. Just delete them and link this back up, and that should be good. So I can compile and save the animation blueprint. And I also need to make sure that I add my character's pose animation in here. So just drag it into the animation graph and plug it into the beginning of the chain. And we're done. So now all we need to do is set up the character itself. So I'm in the CurvePlayer folder, and I'm going to open the CurvePlayer character. So first of all, let's assign my mesh and weapon in here. So select the first person mesh and select your own one. And make sure that you have the proper weapon in here as well, and that it's attached to the right socket. So that should be good to go. Then you want to assign the retargeted animation blueprint to your character's mesh. So I should probably rename it because they are both named CurvePlayer. So no, I don't want to open it. So let's just call it FPS arms. And then in the character, I need to make sure that I assign the correct animation blueprint. So that should be good to go. Now in the event graph of the CurvePlayer, so if I go back into the CurvePlayer folder, open the CurvePlayer blueprint, and over here in the event graph you need to change the animation instance cast, because we have a different animation instance now. So first I'm going to get rid of the cast node and just make sure that I select the variable and assign the new animation blueprint that we created, and change the variable type. And now I need to cast it to the new one, so cast to FPS, and hook everything back up. And that's all you need to do in your character. And there's one thing left, and that is in the CurvePlayer interface. So I'm going to open up the widget blueprint, go to the graph over here, and there are two nodes in here in the fire function, and they call the animation instance. So you need to make sure that you plug in the correct animation instance again. So drag off the new one, look for the function over here, so the fire weapon function. And then I'm gonna split the recoil, and then split the transform again, and also split the rotation. And I'm just gonna drag over the pins. So everything is hooked up the way it should. Get rid of the old node. And then if I scroll to the side over here, I also need to make sure that I call the correct stop fire. So drag off your new animation instance and call the stop fire function. Hook it up. get rid of the old one. What just happened? And that's all we need to do. So now the CurvePlayer should be good to go. I need to make sure that it's hooked up to this node as well. Oh, come on. And now we should be good to go. So now if I open up the project, I have my custom character in place with my custom weapon, and I can start making animations or recoil or whatever you want to do. So that's how you set up your custom character. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.